Hello, my gorgeous human friends. Welcome back to another weekly episode of the No Food Rules News, where we chat about things from the week that have relation to food, nutrition, body image, all the things. I dropped my phone. There we go. Okay. Welcome back. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. We have a variety of things to talk about today, from body image stuff. We have some talk about artificial sweeteners. I feel like those are in the news all the time. It was just aspartame. Now we're going to talk about a different one, sucralose or Splenda. We got some Halloween candy news, and I have some thoughts on it. What else do we have, you guys? And a couple bananas, or you won't get it, pineapple, TikTok trends to go through. So I am excited for this episode. I was thinking about it today. First of all, it is October. Welcome to October, you guys. I feel like September literally flew by in the blink of an eye. Like, don't know where that went. And I was talking about this on my Instagram stories, and I'm like, I am surviving in October, and I'm actually sitting down and I'm like feeling good today, but we are not thriving. We are surviving. So I just wanted to say, like, normalize that. And if you're in that spot too, it's okay. I think that especially where this kind of all came about is that I have noticed it was kind of like hard for me to go on social media. And I think it's because we're always like bombarded with all of this like positivity. And like, I was like, I'm not in that place. I don't want to consume that. So just taking a moment to like normalize that, like, not everyone is going to be happy all the time. And that's okay. Let me just twist this and make sure this is working. My biggest fear, you guys, is that I'm gonna like sit here and do, not my biggest fear. My biggest fears are skunks and TSA. But I would like hate to, we all know I'm not a tech savvy gal. I just do the best I can. But yeah, with that, like I said, October, if you are surviving instead of thriving, I feel you. But if you are in the society, new months mean new member challenges and also some new recipes. So if you are in the society, if you are not and want to become a member, I'll put info in the description. But this month, our challenge, we do a different challenge every month. This one is all about new meals, and I'm excited for that. So essentially, working on incorporating different meals into we're going to do separate into like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. It can do a variety of things. It can expose you to new meals that you might enjoy. It can help you out of a food rut. It can help you eat more mindfully. It can help you break your food rules. There's so many benefits to it. So last month we did a meal prep challenge, and now this month we're doing a new meal challenge. So I'm excited about that. I've got a couple things up my sleeve, but if you need some new meals to try, today's Thursday. Friday, we are dropping new recipes in the membership. We are dropping, these are all really good ones, you guys. Copycat Chick-fil-A Kale Crunch Salad with nuggets. I asked my husband last night at dinner, I was like, what recipes have you been like loving lately? And he said that one. And I historically also don't like kale. This is really good. Pumpkin cheesecake oats, also solid. Another one he really said he loved was the pumpkin and goat cheese tortilla pizzas, and then meatball subs. Honestly, guys, boom, boom, boom across the board. 4 of those. Those are all delicious. So like I said, if you're watching this episode or listening to it when it comes out live, I'm going to try to put this on the podcast today. We'll see how that goes. But they're going to come out tomorrow. So get excited for that. Delicious, guys. The meatball subs, like, I have been wanting a meatball sub for so long, and I made them. I was like, this is so easy. Why am I not doing this all the time? You're going to love it. It takes literally 20 minutes to make. All right, guys. Are we ready to get into our topics for today? Because, okay, we're just going to hop right into it. First of all, if you are new, be sure to subscribe, follow, whatever, if you're watching this on YouTube, podcast, all the things, because we do these every single week. So let's go ahead and dive into the first story. I literally thought, what the genuine F, when I read this headline. So it says, new TikTok bone smashing trend encourages people to hit themselves in the face with hammers to improve their looks. What on earth is happening to the world? What on earth is happening to the world? I just thought that was absolutely bananas. It says medical experts are surrounding the alarm over a new bizarre TikTok trend that has people hitting themselves in the face with hammers in hopes it will make them more attractive. So essentially the thought behind this is that when our bones are kind of like, let's say you get a fracture or something, your bones essentially will, through the process of healing, get stronger. So that's kind of what they are saying here. It's also kind of like why people recommend weightlifting for strengthening bones, kind of that same effect. But that's not the case here. Like, you don't know how you're literally smashing yourself in the face. You don't know how your bones are going to heal back together, if they're going to heal in the way that you want. So I think that, like, to me, it's kind of like people are trying to do like at-home plastic surgery, not plastic surgery, but you know what I mean, like where they can literally like shave off some of your bones and whatnot. Absolutely bananas. But let's just like not do this because, and okay, A, don't do it, right? B, don't always follow TikTok trends because they can be incredibly dangerous. And I just, wow, like could not believe that that was an actual thing. So if you see anyone smashing their face on TikTok, maybe we don't follow that advice. And as always, be a little wary of the advice that you are following, where you get it from, who you get it from, because I would really hate for you to smash yourself in the face and have your bones like literally not heal back appropriately. Just don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. Story 2. I loved this story and I'm so excited to share it. This is a body image story. So it says, Valerie Bertinelli feels beautiful rewearing her fat clothes from Jenny Craig before photo. So I remember growing up and hearing all about Jenny Craig, right? That was a very big diet trend if you were in the like probably a variety of ways, but I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and I remember just hearing about Jenny Craig all the time. And I specifically remember Valerie Bertinelli for being like the spokesperson for it. So the article says Valerie got emotional while trying on the same outfit she wore in her first before picture for a Jenny Craig weight loss commercial. She said, I found the clothes I was wearing in my very first before picture with Jenny Craig. I thought I was fat the last time I wore these clothes. I've never felt more beautiful, more at peace, I'm gonna cry, more mentally and emotionally stable than I do today, and I'm wearing my fat clothes. That's effed up, guys. I'm literally gonna cry. This just shows you, like, because I am surviving and not thriving this month, I am just, like, so emotionally unstable. I laugh because they have to laugh to get me through it. But I just thought that I feel like the more that we embrace the non-diet movement, the more that I've seen this happen, whether it's influencers or celebrities coming out and saying, I may have gained weight or my body might not look the same, but I was really struggling when I was promoting that diet or I was showing that lifestyle, right? And I think that it's so refreshing to see that. I mean, granted, we still have a ton of ways to go with this whole movement, but for this, it was like, it really hit me, like I said, because I remember so clearly her on those commercials and on the magazines and all the things with those before and after pictures. And for her to now come and say, like, kind of like, she didn't say like she regretted it or that it wasn't worth it, but like, it's not about my weight, and I have done, the work on myself. And I also want to be very clear that it doesn't mean that you can't focus on nutrition and bettering yourself. Like, absolutely, I am all about that. That's what I hope to help you do, but by taking the focus off of weight so that we're not shrinking our bodies to a place where it is literally torture. If your dream body is a nightmare to maintain, is that actually a dream body? Just gonna throw that out there. But I just absolutely loved seeing that, and I just think it is so refreshing. And if anyone else like grew up with seeing her all the time, hopefully that like has a little special place in your heart as well. All right, our next one, we have a little bit of another TikTok trend. This one actually, we're going to chat about it. It's not as bad as the bone smashing one. Guys, oh my Lanta. So this one says, viral pineapple sleep hack is good, but eating this before bed is even better, experts say. So the trending TikTok hashtag pineapple hacks, which has 3.7 million views. Fruit Happy Snackers have credited the sweet piece of produce, pineapple, with helping them achieve the better sleep overall, owing it to its melatonin boosting property. So melatonin is a hormone that essentially our brain releases in darkness, and it can help our body, our kind of circadian rhythm, understand that, hey, it's like sleepy time, right? We go to bed now. So that's why a lot of people will take it before bed. The research on it can show like there can be an improvement. It's not a replacement for if you're like, I'm just like chronically not getting enough sleep. It's not gonna fix that, right? It's not a overall fix for like chronic insomnia or anything like that. But I have taken, my husband has taken melatonin for when we just kind of like, I just am on this streak of like not sleeping well. I've also taken it when I don't sleep well if I'm like traveling. So sometimes I'll take melatonin or my nighttime CBD gummy. So this is not like an off the wall thing. Now there are some other things that can have higher melatonin. So when I think of melatonin, I actually think of tart cherries. Those are going to have a higher level of melatonin. But there are also other foods like eggs, fish, nuts, some cereals, mushrooms. So you don't have to, it's not that like pineapple is this exceptional thing. I do think that like pineapple is sweet. It's probably going to be enjoyable for you to have before bedtime. So like that's why people are drawn to it. And anytime anyone feels like they're a part of something like this whole hashtag pineapple hacks hashtag, I said that twice, it feels good, right? So I think that maybe a little lesson on melatonin there. I do believe that the studies on melatonin are done, I want to say, don't quote me on this, 6 months. It's not like supposed to be a long-term thing because it is a natural hormone that your body creates. It's supposed to be more of for like temporary use. I believe that's where the studies have mainly focused. But like I said, it's not something that I disagree with taking. I don't think there's anything special about pineapple itself. You could take like a melatonin supplement, but as always with supplements, guys, make sure that you are taking one that is regulated. You can look for a little seal on the label that says like USP verified, just to let you know that what's actually in it is actually in it, because supplements are not regulated in the same way that food is, which kind of segues beautifully into our next story here. We are like busting through these today, guys. I am doing these in a little bit more of like less chatty, kind of more like straightforward. So I envision this video is going to be shorter than the usual ones. I would love to hear your feedback and let me know, like, do you like the more like to the point kind of things? Because sometimes, like, to my own fault, I don't shut up, you guys. Like, I could talk forever, especially when I get going on these topics. So I'm trying it this week where we're just kind of being a little more like to the point. We can chat about it, but like no need to elongate it more than it needs to be, because let's be real, we got things to do during the day. I want to give you this information but not take away from the other stuff that you have to do. So our fourth story headline that we've got here is artificial sweetener chat. Let's do it. So it says Splenda is 600 times sweeter than sugar, but is the artificial sweetener safe? So first of all, I like this headline because it wasn't, let me switch my, if you're on YouTube, I got to switch my little graphic, pop up the headline. The headline was not like scary. It wasn't fear-mongering, and I actually thought that was really refreshing. I mean, they easily could have made this, and that's probably why, like, I saw this multiple places, but it wasn't as, you know, like everywhere as some other things. That's probably because they didn't go with as clickbaity of a title. It says
there's language in it I don't love. But Americans sure love sweets. That's where popular artificial sweeteners like aspartame, saccharin, and erythritol come in. So this one is talking about Splenda specifically. There's a variety of different artificial sweeteners. I'm going to go ahead and open up the article here. Theodore is on the couch causing rustle. Anywho, okay, sucralose. So that's the one we were talking about here. Splenda. It says it's 600 times sweeter than table sugar. Truth. And this article actually, moral of the story, guys, I'll just cut to the chase. It is safe. So when you hear people saying like artificial sweeteners are so quote unquote bad for you, they're going to cause all these things, we don't have science for that, right? We don't have the evidence to prove that. Just going to put that out there. Sometimes people can make correlations. I've said this a billion times. Correlations are not causation. So if someone says someone eats more artificial sweeteners and they also have a higher risk of diabetes or, I don't know, cancer, right? That doesn't mean that caused it. It's kind of like, this is an example I always use. It's like saying, in the summer, more people go to the beach. So when more people go to the beach, more shark attacks are likely to happen. In the summer months, people are also more likely to buy ice cream. Doesn't mean ice cream sales cause shark attacks. No, those two things are correlated, meaning they happen in tandem. One does not cause the other. You could also say that someone who's wearing a red shirt and they have heart disease, okay, well then those two things are correlated. The red shirt caused heart disease. Probably not, right? So that's when you see a lot of the studies, what they're talking about. But I always love a very good tangible example. And this article used the example of a 150-pound person, but I'm going to use the example of a 170-pound person because that is the average weight of a woman 20 years old in the US. Okay, so let's break it down. So there's something called an ADI, which is the acceptable daily intake, and that is set to show like how much of this thing could someone cause without having any potential negative effects. Okay, so and I'm talking like they take that level and then they also factor in like a buffer, and I'm talking like 100 times. I'm not talking like 2%. Like we're given good buffer with that. So the ADI, again, you could consume this daily without having the negative effects, is 5 milligrams per kilogram per day. So I did the math for you. If someone, a average woman in the US above 20 years old, she would need to have 32 packets a day to potentially have any effect. And remind you, that limit has a huge buffer too. And one thing that I thought was interesting is that the Europe's ADI is 15 milligrams per kilogram. So that is more. And I think that it's so interesting because because so often we hear that like Europe has stricter guidelines. Well, is that the case here? Not always. So essentially, like, unless you are, which maybe I'll say this, unless you are eating like packets on packets a day, you're probably like 32 of them, you're probably fine. But I will say that I have actually done that, like eaten Splenda packets. I was that desperate during my disordered eating days for something sweet that I actually did that. And I remember it like being so disgusting. The things that we do. Anywho, compassion. I have so much compassion for my past self. No judgment, no shame. And I think that's important for anyone too. With our past behaviors, we learn from it, but shaming, I always say, shame is not a good way to have positive change. But addressing those things. Like I said, when I say, guys, like you can't say anything that's going to shock me in terms of disordered eating, I genuinely mean that. So no shame, no judgment here. So back to our article here. Is it safe? Yes. So everyone who is fear mongering, I actually posted, what did I post about yesterday on Instagram? I posted about low sugar gummies. So, like Smart Sweets and whatnot. They are packed with fiber, you guys. That's how they're so low calorie. Twofold is because they have a lot of artificial sweeteners, and then they also have a lot of fiber. Like, I'm talking like over a day's worth of fiber. So if you eat like a packet of Smart Sweets, they're not necessarily inherently bad, but if you eat a packet of them, you might not poop for a few days, right? And someone in the comments of that post had said, I don't want to eat artificial sweeteners because regular sugar is so much better for you. And I think that it depends. Let's go into this. Colleen's talking with her hands again. It depends on why you're choosing the artificial sweetener. Okay. So if you are saying, I am choosing to have an artificial sweetener because I'm scared of the calories in regular sugar, or I'm scared of regular sugar, causing my blood sugar to spike, not from a medical need, just because of what you've been told on social media, that's a different story. The way that I differentiate a food rule, but it's okay for you to be like, you know what? Maybe like having a bunch of sugar right now is not going to make my body feel good. Maybe you have diabetes. Maybe you just are sensitive to feeling blood sugar spikes. Like, there's not anything wrong with, even with no food rules, choosing to have something with artificial sweetener. Plus, sometimes it's just in foods we like and we don't necessarily make the conscious choice to consume it or not, like put it in the food. It's just the manufacturer has done that. If you would feel guilt, stress, or anxiety having real sugar, that likely signals you have a food rule about sugar, not a food preference towards something that has less calories and sugar in it. If, for instance, you say you go to Starbucks, let's use this example. You go to Starbucks and you're like, I want my coffee and I would like sugar-free syrup. And they say, sorry, ma'am, we only have regular syrup. Would you be like, oh my gosh, I can't eat that? Like, would you feel anxious? Would you feel anxious if they did put regular syrup in your drink, right? Would you feel anxious, guilty, stressed? That signals it likely might be a food rule. Again, it's a different story when it's, I have diabetes. Like, that will genuinely, potentially hurt me in some way. That's a different story, but I still think there's not like guilt, shame, or anxiety there. There might be concern and understanding that like I still might not want to drink that, but the guilt, shame, and anxiety is not associated with a preference or an empowered choice versus a food rule. Okay, very, very important distinction with that. So hope that puts things into perspective. It's okay if you like Splenda in your coffee or whatever you're making, but we don't want to fear regular sugar. And unless you're having like those 32 packets a day, you are probably fine. Okay. All right, last one is a fun one today, you guys, and I have some thoughts on it. So it says, introducing Reese's spine-chilling new Halloween treat, peanut butter skeletons. I was so excited when I saw this headline because who doesn't love a new shape of Reese's? And I was like, ooh, this is like, it's always the battle. Like, are the pumpkins better? Are the eggs best? Are the trees best? And personally, I have to say, I think eggs, because they have the most peanut butter to chocolate ratio. And that's my biggest thing with regular Reese's, guys, is there's just too much chocolate, especially the mini ones. Like, I don't want those because there is so little peanut butter and so much chocolate on the outside of those. Not for me. So for these, I was like, ooh, a fun new shape. I can get down with it. And also when we change up something with our meals, hence that new meal challenge, even if it's just like a shape or a texture or a color of something, it can increase our mindfulness. It can be more satisfying. It can truly be a whole new experience. Also, we talked about this last week, pasta noodles. SpongeBob Pasta, hello, is coming back out with Kraft mac and cheese. But I was so excited about this, but if you look, I don't know if you can see it on the screen. You can Google them or see them in the store if you're not watching or can't see on the screen or you're listening on the podcast. They are, which actually, now that I think about it, this is probably a good thing for me. They look like eggs and they're kind of just like stamped with different characters on the outside. I think there's a couple other ones that they have, but they call out the skeletons. I think they have like ghouls or something like that as well. But they don't look, I guess what I'm trying to say, spit it out, Colleen. They look like an egg with a stamp on top of it. Like the skeleton is like an indentation on the top. It's not like it's in the shape of a skeleton. So I guess for me, since I like the eggs, that's a good thing. But I was expecting to see like, oh, a funny shape, which also thinking about it, like that is so impractical. Like why did I even think that that's what it was going to look like? Like the tree, the Reese's Christmas tree is about as involved as we're going to get. Like a skeleton, I literally don't think you could do it because there's so many like cutouts and whatnot in it. Anywho, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, so go grab some of those, you guys. I need to get some Reese's pumpkins. I actually think I still have a Reese's pumpkin from last year. I know I have a Reese's egg. I don't think I have any Christmas trees. I think I ate all those. But just goes to show you, like, when you eat with no food rules, it doesn't mean that you're just going to eat Reese's all day long. I literally have one from last year, one or a few, I don't know. But I saw it the other day, and I just thought it was funny. I think I also have some of the heart ones from Valentine's Day. Anywho. When you eat with no food rules, you don't just eat cookies and cakes and pizza all day long like you might get the idea of on social media. Because remember, we see those things associated with having no food rules, with food freedom, with intuitive eating, because those things are going to get the most clicks, so they're going to rise to the top, so they're going to be shown in your feed. That's not a good depiction of what actually living it out looks like, okay? All right, guys, if you are watching on YouTube, this is my second week with my little handy dandy like clicker button pad, and I think I did pretty good with it. I hope. I would love to hear your thoughts. But with that, guys, that is the end of our episode for the week. I hope it was informative, helpful, fun for you. If you are not subscribed to the channel, like I said, let's do a quick look forward to different YouTube videos. These come out every Thursday. Next Tuesday, I'm hoping to have out talking about cheat days, because I recently had a day where I was like, we're going to have pizza, we're going to have cakes, we're going to have ice cream. I didn't work out, and we're going to talk about just the concept of cheat days, what's recommended, what's not recommended, how to view it. So get excited for that. Oh my gosh, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw my husband's birthday cake. There was a big incident with it, and I actually got it on camera, and I'm very excited to show you guys that too. So it's going to be a little mix of like vloggy style, also like sit down, and we'll chat about that in kind of real time, very applicable to real life. So get excited for that. Subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified when that video and all the other ones go up. And I hope that you guys have a lovely day, whether you are surviving today, whether you are thriving today. Like I said, I am feeling like today is off to a pretty good start, knock on wood. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because now it might not be, but no, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day. Yesterday was actually our 5-year wedding anniversary, you guys. So that was a fun little day. My husband stopped and got crumble cookies because I was also having a horrendous day. I cried so many times yesterday, and just such a sweet man that I have. I'm very, very lucky and thankful for him. So definitely the week started to turn around then. But I hope that you guys have something fun going on this weekend, doing some fall things, hopefully. And with that, I will see you guys next week with another episode of the No Food Rules News, where we'll chat about all of the things and just have some fun together. Okay? All right, guys, I will see you next week. See you later.